Alright guys, so in this video, we're going to be looking at a topic called labeling congruency on triangles. Alright, so let's just recall this real quick. Remember that we use the equal sign, right, from algebra for algebraically equal. And we use the equal sign with a tilde, okay, that little squiggly is called a tilde. We use the equal sign with a tilde on top of it for geometrically equal. All right, so labeling congruency on triangles. Let's look at the little summary of what congruency was. Okay, so congruency is just when things are geometrically the same. So what we're going to be looking at here is we're going to be looking at how we can say that triangles are geometrically the same. We're going to be looking at how parts of triangles are geometrically the same and how we can put it on paper. All right, so let's do some examples. It'll make more sense. So, for example, let's say we have these two triangles, all right? And let's say that we know these two triangles are congruent. All right, so we know they're congruent, but we want to be a little more, let's say we wanted to show someone else that they were congruent. So what you could do here is you could label it. You could label the triangle, right? Now, in our case, we can label the triangles in a specific notation that geometry pretty much already has, and it goes like this. So let's say you wanted to write that this line here was the same distance, okay, the same geometrically as this line here. All you would have to do is this. Put a tick mark here, a single tick mark here, and then a single tick mark here. Okay, so this is like telling someone that this line of the triangle and this part of the triangle are the same. Okay, they're congruent. All right, so you can do the same thing with the rest of the triangle. So we can say that if we wanted to show someone that this side of the triangle was the same as this side of the triangle, then what you could do is you could do 2 tick marks on each one of these. All right, and since this one has 1 tick mark, right, and this one has 2 tick marks, we know that this line and this line are not the same. All right, so we can go ahead and we can do the other, the hypotenuse also, the longest line here. And since we can kind of see that this line is not the same as this line, and it's not the same as this line, then we're probably going to want to label this side a little differently. So let's do 3 tick marks. Okay, and same thing with here, same thing over here. We can, because we want to say that this line is the same thing as this line, we can do 3 tick marks. All right, so now we can go even a step further. Let's say that this obtuse angle here was the same as this obtuse angle. So similar to how we labeled the sides with the tick marks, we can label the angles also. All right, so let's say that we want to say this angle is the same as this angle. All you would have to do is draw a little arc, just like that. Okay, and since we want to say that this angle is the same as this angle, we draw a little arc here also. All right, and we can do the same thing. So let's say that the angle between the double tick marks, okay, and the triple tick marks, this one right here is the same thing as the angle between this double tick mark line and this 3 tick mark line. Okay, so this one and this one are equal. Then what we can do is this: we can put double arc. Okay, to let someone know that this angle and this angle are congruent. All right. And then we can do the same thing with the very last angle, the angle between tick mark 1 and the 3 tick marks. Okay, so tick mark 1 and the 3 tick marks. If we want to show that these are equal and that they're not equal to either of these two, okay, what we could do here is a triple arc. All right, so now we've denoted each part of the triangle, each section of the triangle to be congruent to its other triangle. All right. So now maybe we want to go a step further, and maybe we could label this triangle. All right. So let's call this point A. We'll call this obtuse angle part point B, and we'll call this double angle point C. All right. So we labeled the triple angle point A. So maybe we'll label the triple angle here point. We'll call it X. All right. And then we label the single angle B. So maybe we'll label the single angle here Y, and then we label double angle here C. So maybe we can label double angle here Z. All right. So now what we can do is we can actually write some statements down. All right. So like we used to say in algebra, 5 equals 5, 2 equals 2, 4 equals 4, right? Or 2 plus 2 equals 4. We can do the same thing with geometry and the congruent sign. Instead of using the equal sign, we can use the congruent sign. So for example, we could do this. We could say angle A, right, triple angle here is congruent to the triple angle here, which is X, angle X. All right, we just showed two geometric figures. In this case, the geometric figures were the angles. So angle A is congruent to angle X. All right, and we can say the same thing with the single arc here. The single arc, we can say angle B is congruent to angle Y. Okay, because this is a single arc and that's a single arc, so we can say they're congruent. All right, and then we can do the same thing with the double angle. We can say angle C is congruent to angle Z. All right, so here we've labeled the angles being the same. All right, but now maybe we want to write down the triangles are congruent, so the actual triangles themselves. All right, so maybe we want to say triangle ABC is congruent to this triangle. All right, so triangle ABC is congruent to this triangle. However, when you write that, you need to make sure when you write the letters of this triangle, they're corresponding with the letters in this triangle. All right, so we're not going to say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ZYX, okay, or triangle ABC is congruent to triangle YZX. All right, so we're going to go in order. Okay, so since we started with the A here, we're going to start with the X. All right, and then we followed with the B. We're going to follow here with with Y. And then since we did this one C, we're going to finish with Z. Okay, so this is how you would write triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ. So you could also write it like this. You could also say triangle CBA. You could say triangle CBA, double angle to single, double arc to single arc to triple arc is going to be the same thing as double arc in this case is Z. Then to single arc is going to be Y, and then to X. All right. So this is just how you would pretty much just label, okay, this triangle, and you would state some facts about it. All right. So let's look at this example real quick. So let's say that we know these two triangles are congruent. All right. And let's say that we know this line right here is the same as this line. All right. So we know this line is the same as this line. But now in this case, let's say that we also know that this line is the same as this line. Let's say that we know these two lines are the same. So instead of doing double tick mark, since we know these are the same, we can just keep it a single tick mark. All right. Same thing over here. Since this side right here, we're going to say is congruent to this side, we can also put a single tick mark. All right. And since we know that the length of this side is not the length of this side, okay, let's assume that. Let's say this side and this side are not equal. So what we can do is put a double, right? And if you guys can tell, when you have a base that's not equal to the two legs, you have an isosceles. Oops, sorry. That's isosceles. Like that. And back over here, this was no sides are equal. So when no sides are equal, you have a